What if I told you that 80% of sales reps will be replaced by AI by 2030? And in fact, it might already be happening. Because let's be honest, sales teams are expensive, they're inconsistent, and most of them, they're not closing like they used to. In fact, I've managed 5 different sales teams to go from 6 to their first 7-figure year. And the businesses and my clients right now that are actually using AI correctly, they're scaling faster than 95% of the market out there right now. Because let's think about it. AI, it doesn't need coffee breaks. It doesn't get butt hurt because it got rejected. It never forgets a follow up. And in fact, they don't have a bad day because they got sick or got rejected by their hinge date last night. So here's the real question you got to ask yourself. Will you learn how to tap into the unfair advantage of AI or lose out to a business who does? This AI revolution isn't lasting forever. So stick with me until the end of this video because I'm actually going to show you step by step the blueprint on how we're actually using AI to close more deals, get more calls, and most importantly, make more money inside of your business. So let's dive right into it. So we're going to talk about 3 really important things. 1, the problem with traditional sales teams. Number 2, why what I call the hybrid sales team, which is a mixture of both AI and actual human sales reps. That's what's actually working in 2025 for businesses today, and that's what I'm actually doing with my clients. And then last but not least, what does this mean for you? What does this mean for your business, you as a business owner, and what you actually need to do so you can get an ROI and get ahead of 99% of the market right now. So let's get into the first one, which is the problem with traditional sales teams. And it just comes down to one key word, labor. Now, traditionally, labor is actually how we've always done it with sales. In fact, if we actually think about it, that's just what most people think of when they think of sales teams. It's actual humans. But let me actually explain why scaling with the old model is actually broken and outdated. So after scaling, 5 different sales teams from 6 to 7 figures, I realized there was always one key obstacle that got in the way of me managing and scaling that sales team, which is what I call sales team complexity, labor. And I don't know if you guys know who Naval Ravikant is. He's a multimillionaire angel investor as well as just entrepreneur. And he said something in his book that always stood out to me, which is the new generation of wealth is built using leveraged tools. Leverage tools like code, media, capital, not manual labor. So when we think about sales teams, what is it all based off? It's literally manual labor. It is absolutely the only thing that most sales teams are built off of. And is why when I started to scale sales teams, it got harder and harder and harder as the different revenue numbers started to grow. So for example, let me give you some context of just the industry. I work in the online coaching, consulting, high ticket space. This can apply for other industries, but this is mostly applied for my space. So usually when you're going and you're growing from 0 to 20K per month in your business, it's usually solo. Like you are the only salesperson, right? That's like level 1. As you start to ascend, you're going to go from like, let's say 20 to 50K per month. You're going to actually have possibly a setter. So you and one other person, whether that's a person like in the States, an English speaking country, or maybe a virtual assistant from like the Philippines or, Latin America. That's usually the composition that I find works best. It's usually like you and one other person. Now, as you start to grow and grow and grow, so as we get to level 3, 50K to 100K per month, it's usually you, possibly 2 other setters, and then 1 closer. Level 4, as you get to 150K per month, usually 2 closers, 3 setters, and then you who acts as a sales manager. So you can see there's like 6 people on this team around a 7-figure business, which can get really exhausting. It can get frustrating. It can get really complex. And so you actually waste a lot of time trying to build a team that's really chunky. There's a lot of fat on that team, okay? And then last but not least, level 5 and above. Obviously, there's more levels to this, but getting from 150 to 250K a month, $250,000 a month, you're around 2 to 3 closers, 4 setters, a sales manager, and you, okay? Now, this is the old way. I'm going to explain more about this later on this video, but we've actually been able to take a team, me personally in my business, we took a team that was around 60K per month, okay? They were hovering around 60 to 80K. They had some 100K months prior, but it was kind of like a roller coaster of revenue, right? You might have faced that in your business possibly, okay? Within 90 days, in a 3-month period, we took them from 60K per month to 323K in 1 month in revenue, a PR revenue month. And guess what? we only did this with 2 closers and 1 setter. Okay, 2 closers and 1 setter. Now, why this is possible is because we were combining AI systems and automation and equipping and empowering this team with what I call the hybrid sales team. Okay, it's called the hybrid sales team. So let me explain a little bit more on this, the hybrid sales team. Okay, because if we go back to what we talked about, the biggest problem in sales teams and growing your sales is going to be that you are stuck purely to labor. So with the hybrid sales team, we're combining labor, which is the lowest form of leverage, okay? And we're combining it with AI, aka code, right? To have the highest form of leverage. In fact, what I'm not proposing here is to replace your entire sales team with AI. What I'm actually going to estimate is that the reason why I said 80% of the sales force is going to be replaced by AI over the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years, by 2030, right? Is because the top 20% are going to be the ones that remain human, and they're actually going to learn how to leverage AI. So instead of having 100% labor, you're going to have that down to about 20% humans that learn how to actually use AI. So this 80%, like the middle of the pack, right? So if you have the top 20% talent, which is human, the bottom, I guess it's now bottom 80% of humans are actually going to be replaced by AI. And so that's why I actually call it the hybrid sales team. And this is not theory. This is not Fantasyland. This is what I'm actually doing right now with my businesses, and I see a lot of sales teams moving in this direction. So if you're a business owner who's relying 100% on human sales reps, I'm going to invite you to think that you could double to triple your revenue and your sales, right? And also cut down the number of labor that you have, because this team that we took from 60K to 323K per month in 90 days, it's 2 closers and 1 setter. And the infrastructure of that is what? AI. Okay? Let me realign you with what it was before. Like, I've built other sales teams. I took one sales team, a health coaching offer, from 120K to 284K in cash collected, right? We did that in a quarter. Guess what? They had the bulkiest sales team. They had 3 closers, 4 setters. I was the sales manager, okay? So that was like literally 8 people. 8 people, right? And that's not to include what we would have actually like VAs and other assistants working out. That was just the sales team, okay? So it's bulky, it's messy, it's complex. And so how can you double your revenue but also cutting your cost in half? So when we're really thinking about profit, oh my gosh, what does this mean for you? Well, you get to take home a lot more profit, okay? So let me break this down a little bit. Let me break this down a little bit more, all right? Let me break this down a little bit more. I'm going to give you guys the secret juice. In fact, if you actually want this blueprint and you actually want to understand how to actually implement this, I have a free mini course in the description below. Go ahead and grab that, okay? Go ahead and grab that. So let's break down the math. Again, solving for sales team complexity. That's what we're doing here. Old sales manager route, 10 to 15K, 3 setters, 2 closers. You're paying them 10%. You're paying the base for the setter, sales manager. Okay, well, guess what? Here, what's this mean for you? What is the ROI? What's the money math? Here is why hybrid sales teams are not only unstoppable in 2025, but they're massively profitable. You're going to make a lot more money. I'm going to show you right now. Okay, let's say you have a business owner. Okay, so instead of the sales manager, because you don't, to be honest, you're going to replace me at my job. You don't need a sales manager in this case to hit 50 to 100K per month, because what you really only need, if you want to create what I call that lean hybrid sales team, you only really need 2 people, maybe 3, right? Like, we have 2 closers and 1 setter on this offer that's bringing in now $250,000 a month and beyond, right? But to be honest, if you want to make 50 to 100K per month, you only really maybe need 1 closer, and then someone what I call a hybrid closer. So someone who's doing part-time setting, part-time closing. So you can literally do this with 2 people if you want. You can literally get to 50 to 100K per month now with two people on your sales team, okay? 2 sales reps. So you're staying lean and mean, baby, right? The AI setter, the AI systems, you can pay per performance if you want. You can, what most people do is they pay one time and then they don't have to pay again for that build out. So because it's this like evolution of software, you're not going to have to pay them a base, and most importantly, you don't have to pay this thing a commission. You're not paying the setter a commission at all, because guess what? It's technology, right? So what used to take 4 to 5 people to build a 100K per month team, you can do it with 2. So what does this mean for you? Well, let's break down the money math. Here's the true cost of sales inefficiency. This is what it's going to cost you, my friend, if you don't switch to this AI-powered sales model, okay? So let's just simulate. Let's pretend you got 100K in cash collected that month, all right? Old way. And I know this because I was personally this guy that was getting paid this, and also I was working through the compensation, the structure with all these different sales teams. For a setter, you'd pay, let's break it down. So let's say they get 3% of closed deals. You're paying the math of $1,500 base per month, okay? So you have 3 setters. This is going to cost you $7,500 just for the setter team, and that's including commissions and their base pay. Now, keep in mind, there's always going to be fluctuations. There's always going to be one setter that's performing better than the others, of course, right? Of course. But just for the sake of math, it's like $7,500 there. Let's say one of your closers closes, $50,000 in that month, cash, another $50,000. So you're paying them 10% of that. That's the industry average. So your closers, you're paying them like $10K. Okay. Your setter, you're paying them $7,500. And if you're paying leadership, right, based on the cash collected and the base per month, you might be paying this sales manager $15K. Yes, sales managers are not cheap. I mean, they are literally the sales leader. They're the captain of your ship, so they're most likely going to be paid the most on your team, right? That being said, if you want to, take off that cost, just be your own sales manager. But I'm going to tell you right now, I would say 80% of business owners are not meant to be sales managers. Just letting you know the cold, hard truth right now. Reason being is because, well, hey, most people didn't get into business to be a sales manager. They got into it because they're maybe a creative, or they're a really good coach, or there's someone who wants to be in the client delivery side of things, whatever it might be. Most people didn't sign up for the sales manager job, okay? So most people want some sort of sales manager. So here's the math. Total payout to sales teams before paid ads, okay? So let's just say you're not even paid. This is all just non-paid ads. This is $32.5K coming out of your pocket. Okay, $32.5K coming out of your pocket, and then not to mention the ad spend that you would have to pay, $42.5K. Okay? So before you even pay the rest of your team and the cost to fulfill and what you get out of $100,000 that you brought in, so you think you're Mr. Hotshot, right? Making $1 million business, 100K. Well, let's be real. Well, you're paying this out to your team. Let's do the math. All right. Okay, that's how much you're making back. That's how much you're making back before you pay the rest of your team. So let's not even talk about overhead and the different, like maybe client success members that you're paying. Okay. So what's my job? I want to make sure that you keep as much money to yourself. Okay. So let's look at the math, the ROI on what if you actually had an AI powered business, or what I call that lean hybrid sales team. Well, again, you don't need a sales manager because you don't have that many people. You literally only have 2 people, okay? And let's say your lead closer, he's like, 80-20 rule, right? He's making 80% of the revenue. So he's bringing in 8,000, all right? The hybrid closer, setter plus closer, I usually will pay them a smaller base of 1,000 and then a higher commission because they're both roles. They're sometimes setting their own deals. So these guys will make 4,000, okay? So that's 12,000 in your business that you're paying out to your team, and that's all commissions, right? So commissions plus a small base in the hybrid closer, and then monthly maintenance about $1,000 for the AI setter. So I'll go into the caveat. The reason why it's $1,000 in maintenance is because there's technology costs, just like any software, that when an AI setter is making outbound dials or is sending outbound text or any sales activity, because there's AI involved, there's actually cost per usage cost, okay? So this can vary. This can be, small as 300. They can be higher to 1,500. It really depends on the cost per usage there, Okay, but it's simply just like just another technology cost. It's a little bit higher than usual, right? Because there's an AI component to it. So let's do the math. Total payout to the sales team, 13,000. The sales team, including the setter, right? So my plus the 10,000 ads, it's 23K. Okay, so we're looking at 23K that you're now having only to pay out compared to the 42.5K that you would have probably paid out 100K cash collected. So let's do the math. Okay, you're bringing in an additional almost 20K per month. That's an additional 20K that if you did nothing else but just did this, less is more. You actually make more money by doing less. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You make more monies, all right? Make it as simple as possible by doing less. So you get to pay people less, you get to do less management, you get to do less training, you get less headaches with all this stuff, and you get to pocket 20K more dollars, almost 20K. That's almost a $250,000 a year. Okay, it's exactly 234,000 a year that you're going to be making in your business with this new sales model. Okay, can you see and imagine why this is so powerful? Not only are you going to get a better bang for your buck and actually allocate, that quote unquote loose change in your business couch that you didn't know was even in there, but most importantly, you're actually going to save so much more time because you have less people to manage. There's less complexity, right? So you get to pay yourself more, you get to reinvest more business and money into your ads or marketing machine, or maybe you pay, your client success, whatever it might be. And because there's less humans, there's less room for human error, because human error is one of the biggest things that gets in the way. Us humans, believe it or not, are not that reliable. One day we wake up and we're a 9 out of 10. The next day we wake up hungover and we're 2 out of 10. Okay. So the reason why your revenue, if we look at revenue, why your revenue in business looks like a roller coaster like this is, guess what? Your revenue is directly correlated to your talent. So if your talent starts to look like this, guess what? Your business is going to start to look like that. So what do we need? Well, we need to combine this hybrid model, labor plus AI, because guess what? It's going to be a lot more consistent. Yes, there might still be some ups and downs, but it's a lot more consistent and reliable. It's a straighter path with guardrails, the guardrails being AI, because guess what? AI is pretty consistent on the most part. It's not going to be hungover. It's not going to be getting sick. It's not going to need a vacation. It's not going to, fight back or argue with you. None of this stuff happens with AI. Now, it's not saying that it's 100% accurate. They'll still make mistakes just like any human would, but it's far, far less of the mistakes that a human makes, and it only gets smarter and smarter and smarter. In fact, if we're really looking at the growth curve of where we are in AI, we're like, I don't even know. Like, to be honest, I think we're right here. We're just getting started with this. So imagine how much more this is going to grow. This thing is going to get better than humans and AI, than us. To be honest, it's kind of a scary thought to think about. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to propose that we are trying to replace, again, 100%. And I'm not proposing that we eliminate all jobs and just use AI. What I am saying is the inevitable is happening, which is AI is taking over whether we like it or not. Okay, and I don't want to be the Karen sitting on the sidelines like, oh my gosh, robots are taking over the world. I don't want to be that person, okay? I want to be the person that's an AI innovator that learns how to use technology and, to be honest, tapping into the best opportunity, I believe, since the internet, okay? The best opportunity since the internet. We know how much people made money when the internet first came out, Amazon.com, okay? What happened when social media came out? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, these social media apps, they blew up. YouTube, they blew up. Those business owners made a crap ton of money from that opportunity, from that social media revolution, the internet revolution. Well, guess what? You have the opportunity to make a crap ton of money in the AI revolution right now. Okay? You have this opportunity. It's right in front of you. So you can decide to be a Karen on the sidelines and just get mad and wait while everyone else is learning how to use this and outcompete you, where not only is sales reps going to be replaced by 2030, your business is probably going to be done and dead by 2030 if you don't take advantage of these AI agents, this AI revolution, and learn how to actually powerfully use AI in your sales and marketing process. Okay. So that being said, that's it for today's video. Thank you for checking out that video. And before you leave, I have one last special gift for you. In fact, it's a free gift and possibly one of the greatest opportunities to help you 2 to 3x your business growth this next year. Now, after several months of not doing anything live, I'm finally doing a live free masterclass this upcoming month. So what we're going to cover here is actually how to dominate this year with AI agents, and most importantly, how to scale your business with something like an AI sales rep. So I'm not holding anything back. I'm sharing all the secrets I've learned, implementing this in my business, my client's business, and sharing all the tools, frameworks, and strategies live on this actual masterclass. Now, if that sounds like it could actually be helpful for you, just click on the actual link below. There are limited spots for this free masterclass, but if you're seeing this, that means there still are probably spots. So click now on that link, go ahead, register, and I'll see you live on Zoom on that upcoming masterclass. Again, Larry Antaporta, thanks for your attention. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side here soon.